What secret do you keep from your family? I had a suicide pact with my cousin. He had mental problems and lived with his parents, my uncle and his wife. He would babysit me when I was 9 to 11 years/old. My uncle thought it would help him focus if he had to watch a kid during the summer. Over the last year that he watched me, he told me about how cruel the world was and how I would be no different because it runs in the family, and that most of the males have some kind of mental issue. True for most of the males on my mother's side of the family. By the last month we would basically spend the days crying or talking about how terrible things are. At 11 he had me convinced that the world was going to hate me. So when he brought up taking the easy way out before I would have to go through it, I agreed with him. He said we would do it the day after Christmas so we could have one last good memory with the family. I ended up getting so sick I was in the hospital from mid-December through the end of January. When I got out of the hospital, my family said I couldn't see my cousin anymore and that a neighbor would take care of me during the summers. I thought he ran away until my aunt let it slip that he shot himself in the backyard with my uncle's shotgun. Blew bits of his head onto the roof of the house. What was insane was that when I found out I cried because he went without me and I was too scared to find another way to die. I felt like I had betrayed him by getting sick and missing our day. After about a year and going through ups and downs, I started to realize how great things were for me without having my cousin mentally dragging me down for a couple months every year. I got a girlfriend and good grades. I even moved to a whole new city. To this day I regret not telling the family before it happened, but back then I expected to go too, so I didn't see it as a big deal. Now it would do nothing but hurt everyone. It's been over 10 years now and not a soul knows. It just confuses me how much he talked to a kid about how terrible the world was until the kid was ready to die. Honestly, I'm sure I would have gone through with it had I gone to his house for Christmas. God, I was stupid. My God, man, that is absolutely awful. I can't imagine how awful you must have felt after all of this. Honestly, the worst part of it was the first couple of years. It always crossed my mind that I should have died. Every time life got hard during those couple years, I kept thinking I wouldn't be going through this if I was dead, and then life would go back to normal. Last year I started therapy and I forgave my younger self for being so willing, for feeling like it was right. I've moved on past it, but it's a secret my family will never know. Guys, don't kill yourselves. Life is valuable and should not be left in vain. Please, seek for help. Think about your family. Think about what your future can bring you. Suicide is not and will never be an option. That my dog saved my life. When I was 14 I was pretty depressed, and after a particularly difficult day at school, I was not exactly popular. I grabbed some rope from my garage and planned on hanging myself. I started getting it set up, but my dog came running in and wanted to play tug of war with the rope. If he didn't do that, I wouldn't be here today. His name is Milo. There is his photo. It's hard for me to type this because I'm putting him down in a few minutes. He has been living in pain for a long time and has reached the end of his life. I'm crying really fucking hard right now, but I know it's the right thing to do. Edit, just said goodbye. I know he's in a better place now, but it hurts so bad. I'm really sorry about your dog, but I'm glad he was there for you in your time of need. It's your turn to be there for him. Be strong, my friend. We made sure to all be there for him as he closed his eyes and went to sleep. Thank you for the words of support. It's been a long day. My family have a rough background, a lot of violence and substance use problems. I left home at 16, haven't spoken to them since, and after 7 years of university have a pretty high-paying job. I have to constantly ask websites to take down my full name because if my family found out, I'd be swamped with messages asking for money that would go straight to alcohol and drugs. They already have an idea after I didn't catch a result fast enough, so it doesn't really matter, and I loosened up my social media. But I still hide my income. Why don't you change your name? I have publications under my name and I'll be damned if I'm going to change it for them. Damn right. By the way, you can't always just say the magic word when they want money, no. It's difficult to gamble with people who don't have anything to lose. I was raped 3 times by the time I turned 18. As a guy, it's hard to tell them. I totally understand and am with you, man. I was sexually abused by 2 completely unrelated older men. First when I was 8 to 9, then later when I was 11. My family was fanatically religious, and I knew if I told anyone I would have a bunch of crazy people casting demons out of me and shoving Jesus down my throat. Still to this day, I've only told a handful of people. I've worked past the confusion, the anger, the self-pity and feelings of indifference alone, and I look back and regret not being more open about the mental war that was going on in my head. I tried to hang myself with one of my school ties when I was 15 years old. Thankfully the hook holding the noose on the door has broken. Otherwise, I couldn't to write this story. Thankfully life got much better after that. I still haven't told anybody to this day, not even my parents or girlfriend. Whilst life isn't perfect right now, trying to find a job in the current market after graduating last year, at 22 years old, my life is much better than it was when I was 15. Overall my life is so much better. I'm surrounded with a great support network, and I thank myself every day that my suicide attempt failed. I'm sorry you felt that it was the only option. I can't imagine what pain you were feeling. Thank you for your kind words. Looking back, yes, I was in a lot of pain at that time in my life. Yes, on the outside I looked like I had my act together, but really my personal problems had come to a boil at that time. The attempt made me realize that my life was not in a good place, and so I had to improve it myself. My advice to anybody in a similar situation: if you ever contemplate suicide, please don't keep it a secret. I honestly wish I could go back in time and tell the 15-year-old version of myself, things will get better. It's worth seeing the future, as it only gets better. They'll never know how depressed I really am, because I cannot and do not want to burden them. They are the best thing in my world, and do make it better. They are responsible for what joy I do have. I watch my kids closely. Mental issues I'll deal with at the root and start if they exhibit themselves. My wife knows about my struggles, just not how present they are, so it's not a complete secret. But it's the one thing I won't tell them. Listen, I am telling you an advice I wish I knew years ago. You will not be a burden just for asking help. At least, tell your wife the whole thing. I mean, she's your wife. Depression is a really serious thing, and I don't want to see people hide it thinking they will be a burden. Like you said, they are the best thing in your world, and same goes for them to you. Please, take care of yourself and ask for help, I mean it. That my mom scares me a lot at night when she drinks AMD, that keeps me up a lot. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. They all know she drinks a lot, but what they don't know is that I've been basically homeless off and on because she gets drunk and kicks me out on the regular. Like the other night she gave me a concussion. Oh buddy, I'm so sorry. How old are you? What's keeping you there? Is it concern for your mother? It sounds like you feel you have nowhere else to go. I know you're not okay, and that was a lot of questions for an internet stranger, but that is an awful situation, and I want you to know somebody is concerned for you. I'm good as for right now. As soon as quarantine is over, I'm out. I'll probably go to my older sisters or something. And as for concern for my mother, I really don't care what happens when I go, because I've tried and tried to help her for my entire life and nothing ever worked. I guess it's just out of my hands. This is kinda really stupid, but I hide my online friendships cause they're kinda closed-minded, and A, don't believe that you should talk to people you don't know. B, internet bad. C, if you talk to a guy online, it must be a sexual thing. My religion, or rather, the lack thereof. When I was a kid, I remember seeing my mom cry because her friend's son came out as an atheist, as she imagined the horror of knowing your kid is going to hell. I'm an adult, so it's not like I can get in trouble if my parents find out, but I don't want to put them through that. I don't believe my eternal soul will rot in hell forever. Why should they? Do you keep any secret from your family? Leave a comment. And subscribe to this channel if you want to see more same videos.